Hey y'all, welcome to the Second of Strength podcast. My name is Tanner Clark. I went from sitting at a desk to speaking on stage internationally to inspire teenagers and people like you. My goal is simple: help you find your 1 second of strength to walk away from the things that are holding you back, to step into your potential, and ultimately find happiness. Thank you for spending your valuable seconds with me today. Let's go. Welcome to this week's episode of the Second of Strength podcast. Before we started, I am so sore. I played pickleball this week. My wife has been playing a lot of pickleball, and so I went with her. And when you don't play a sport or you do something new, it is pretty painful. So here we are, trying to fight through soreness and fatigue from playing too much pickleball. Anyway, but if you would take a moment and help me out by going and leaving a rating and review for this podcast, it helps, because ultimately my goal is to help you and help everybody else out there. And the only way I can do that is by reaching more people. And so when you take a second and leave a rating and review, it actually will amplify the podcast to people who listen to other podcasts like this. And so if you would do that, I would appreciate it. And if you don't, I appreciate you anyway. But today I want to talk to you really quick about something that has helped me in my life. When I look at the path I've taken to get to where I am, and really I think success leaves clues. So if you think about near whatever space you're in, if you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, you're a mom, you are whatever you do. I think if you break it down and you look at how people have been successful to grow, to find happiness, I think that this is the key. And so today, I focus on finding your 1 second of strength, hacking your brain to do the hard thing in the moment. And I believe that you have a choice to make when it comes down to fight or flight, doing something, not doing something. You have a decision to make, and it comes down to finding your 1 second of strength to choose what your response is going to be. That is your 1 second of strength. And when I think about success, it comes down to, in this case, 2 seconds of strength. And these are the 2 seconds of strength that I believe that if you can hack your brain and do them, it will change literally everything in your life. And so the first is this. The key to success is, 1, you have to find your 1 second of strength to start. And on day 2, you have to find your 1 second of strength to keep going. That's it. That is the secret. Starting and keeping going. And most people can do one, they don't do the other. And some people don't even get the first one down right. So it really comes down to that. Finding your 1 second of strength to start. And then the next day, find your 1 second of strength to keep going. And most people fail because they forget the second part. It's hard. It's inconvenient. It's uncomfortable, and you feel judged. You might feel that results aren't coming fast enough. And so for all of these reasons, we don't keep going. Even though in the moment we felt passion, we felt desire, we felt motivation, we felt all of these things to start, we use that 1 second of strength to start, and then we just don't keep going. And I think that all of these negative thoughts enter into our mind. And so when negative thoughts and limiting beliefs are spreading in our minds like a virus, the antidote is finding your 1 second of strength, because it's in that second that you will push all of that other stuff aside and you will go, you will start, you will push. And it really truly takes 1 second. And I know that sounds so simple, and it is. You just have to choose in that moment. But I read a couple statistics I'll talk about in this as we go through. But I read a statistic the other day that 98% of people don't leave their comfort zone. Now, I tried to figure out where this statistic comes from, if it's scientific research. I don't know that it is, but I thought it was just an interesting thought that 98% of people will not leave their comfort zone. And so, and I thought about, you remember, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Anchorman, but when he's like 60% of the time, it works every time. That's kind of like that. 2% of the time, I leave my comfort zone every time. Um, but how do we take that first step? How do we become the 2%? How do we decide in our life that we are going to leave our comfort zone, that we are going to push through, that we're going to use that 1 second of strength? And I think that we need to fill our mind with the positives that will happen after we start. The negatives, the fears, they're all likely an over-exaggeration. And I'm not saying they're not real, but they're probably an over-exaggeration of reality. But what I want you to focus on is focus on the future positives. What will your life look like? What will that version of you be when you decide to find your 1 second of strength and start? Who will you become? Because the alternative, if you stay the 98%, if you stay in your comfort zone, if you decide that you're not going to leave your comfort zone, you will not change. And that's just the simple fact. And so you have to decide that you are important enough, and that future version of yourself, the future version of who you can become, is way more important than not overcoming that fear. And so when you find that 2%, you decide to start, you're going to open up and unlock every possibility in your life. And the best part of taking that first step is the immediate joy that you'll have done it. And I want you to celebrate that. I want you to celebrate that you did a hard thing. Recognize it in your life. Recognize that you overcame. Recognize that you became a part of the 2% of people who are willing to jump, who are willing to take that first step in your life. Be proud of yourself in that moment. I'm proud of you. I'm so proud that you're willing to do that in your life. And I know that it's hard. And too many people get stuck because they don't know what comes next. And so they don't start at all. And that's one of the biggest challenges that I see, is that people just get too scared to start. And so that's the first step, and it's so important. But here's the reality. The next step is the most important step. So something that I found is that 80% of people don't set goals. So, and of that 20%, of the 20% of people that do set goals, 70% of them don't ever reach those goals. Now, I'm not very good at math. Was not my major. I'm not great at it. But if I do that math, out of 100 people, only 6% or 6 people will reach their goals. That's not very many. Now, don't get me wrong. Goals are important because they can set a course. They can give us a strategy for our lives. They can point the direction of where we want to go or who we want to become. But goals are not the goal. Daily consistency in a system of success is the goal. When you create a system of success, you create a space where you can begin to live and embody habits that will make it nearly impossible to fail. I want you to grasp that for a second because again, goals are great. How many people start New Year's resolutions and then stop them a day later, a week later, 2 weeks later? Because you're going off of momentum that you want to change, or even going off of something that you don't like about yourself and deciding that you're going to start going to the gym and change that. But the only way to create the right habit in your life is by creating a system. So again, goals are not the goal. Daily consistency in a system of success is the goal. And when you create a system of success, you create space where you can begin to become the person that you want to become. So a quick example for me, and I have been doing this for 10 years, 12 years, 13 years. When I decided that I wanted to change my exercise habits, wanted to get in shape, wanted to change in that way, I did what I did. I started day one. I decided I was going to change. I found my second of strength and I started day one. Day two was so hard because just like from playing pickleball, I was so sore. I was in pain, but I did it anyway. And then day three and day four. But here's why I continued 12 years later, is because I created a system of success to where I wasn't going to fail. And this is what it looks like for me working out. I know it would work for you, but apply this to any other aspect of your life. The night before, I set my alarm and I put my phone out of the room. There is no snoozing. There's no snoozing when it's time to wake up. I set my alarm. I get up, and I get up early. I get up at 5:30 most days. And so I set my alarm, put my phone away from the bed. I set my shoes out and my workout clothes, my contacts, everything that I need, my pre-workout. I set everything up that I need, and I put it in the bathroom across the house, the other bathroom. And so when that alarm goes off, I have to get up because I can't hit snooze. I have to walk across the house. I have to get my clothes on because that's what I've set and predetermined that I was going to do. And then I also choose the workout. I know which body part, which type of exercise, cardio, HIIT, lifting. I know what I'm going to do the night before. And so there is no decision in the moment. Am I going to work out? Am I not going to work out? Because the decision was made. I thoughtfully made the decision the night before that it was going to happen. So when it comes time for the moment to get out of bed, I've already decided that I was going to do that. I've already made that choice. I've created a system for success in working out that has made it so I will not fail in my life. And so think about that as you think about, all of the things that you do in your life, everything that is so important to you or everything that you want to become. Create that system of success, and that will create a space where you cannot fail. And what I've really done, and what in any new thing that you want to do, what it really comes down to is habit stacking. Habit stacking is one of my favorite, and it's the best tip I can give you for creating that system. It is what will allow you to create systems in your life to change. And so habit stacking is when there's something new that you want to do, whatever that is, and you attach it to something that you already do in your life. And so, a very simple one would be if you want to start reading personal development, then you buy the book, you're ready to go. It's a long book and you go, man, I don't know how I'm going to read this thing. But if you attach it to something you already do in your day, then it will create a new habit in your life. So it may be that, you say every time I'm about to get in bed, I brush my teeth. After I brush my teeth, I'm going to stack a habit that I read for 10 minutes every day without fail. That's what I'm going to do. It could be when I get in my car for my morning commute, the very first thing I'm going to do is turn on a spiritual podcast to be more spiritual, or and then the next thing I'm going to do after I listen to that for 10 minutes, I am going to listen to something motivational for 10 minutes. And you can start to shape and frame your day by creating habits, stacking habits, and creating a system of success. And it is the number one way that I can tell you to begin to change your life, to find your second of strength, to keep going. Because when I look at my life, I always say, people ask me all the time, well, how have you gotten to where you are? And my response is always, I have one really great trait, and it's that I don't give up. I don't give up. I'll never stop. I will never stop. And the reason is because I've found how to find my second of strength to keep going. And it truly is the difference in my life. And so that is the simple advice I have. It takes practice, it takes time, but there's 2 seconds of strength that will change your life. 1, the second that you decide to start. 2, when you find your 1 second of strength and decide to keep going. And then the next day you find it again and you keep going. And the next day you find it again and keep going. And pretty soon you'll have created a space in your life where You don't even have to find your second of strength anymore because it's just a part of who you are. And when you establish habits to change who you are and you become that other person, that's when life unlocks for you. That's when it gets fun. That's when it gets easy. And I promise that you can do this in your life. Will it take time? Yes. Will it take practice? Yes. Will it take effort? Yes. Can you do it? Absolutely. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope it helped you. If you haven't already, hit subscribe so you never miss another episode, and leave a review for the show. And as always, go find your 1 second of strength and be happy.